Welcome to the Contrarians. Tonight our topic is But for That One Song. So we've got a pretty big panel tonight. This will be good. Let's get started. Welcome to the Contrarians, and tonight we have a great topic and a great panel. Topic for tonight is, get this, ladies and gentlemen, but for that one song, ... I'm just going to let it lay there, absorb that for a minute, and then once we start talking, I think you're going to get it. So I want to welcome the panel tonight. We've got Peter Jones, we've got Butch, we've got the Elder of Rock, and we've got Martin and myself, and we are here. We're going to have a little discussion, see where it goes. And gentlemen, how are you? Nice to see you. Ready to talk about the records?
Good. Absolutely. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
All right, so let's do it. I'm going to go as I see it. Peter Jones, Martin, the Elder, Butch, and we're just going to go right around, and we're going to do 5 picks, and we're just going to do. Everybody's just going to do it. So, Peter Jones, welcome to the show. Nice to see you. Let's hear your 5.
Nice to see you. Nice to see everybody else. We'll jump right in. Number 5. This is an album that I absolutely love. It came out in 1980 from the Scorpions, and the album Animal Magnetism, which I absolutely love from top to bottom.
Yep. But
for that one song called Lady Starlight, which drives me nuts.
What?
Can't stand it. Don't like it. Great song. It just doesn't fit with how heavy and aggressive the rest of the record is. They would do better later on with When the Smoke is Going Down and Still Loving You. When the albums are a little more commercial, they fit. Doesn't fit here. This is as heavy as the Scorpions ever got, and it just doesn't work for me. So that's my number 5. Number 4 is another album that I love. All of these are albums that I really love. But for that one song, 1982, the band Toto and the seminal album Toto 4. I can't stand Africa. I just don't like it. It's
now, did you not like it initially, or is it just because you got tired of it?
I've never liked it.
All right.
It just never worked. So the fact that it was at the end of the album made it easy. I didn't have to skip something during the middle. I could just play, and when it got there, I just shut it off. I just think it's too repetitive and just never has worked for me. The rest of the album is just a masterpiece, but this just doesn't work. So that's my number 2. Number 3, we go to 1975 and the debut solo record from Mr. Nugent. And this is just song after song, which is great, which is amazing. And all of a sudden, late down on side 2, you make me feel right at home. No, I felt like a stranger in a strange land. This just didn't work for me at all. Well, thank God they ended with Queen of the Forest, because that saves it a little bit. But man, what are you thinking? This is just guitar pyrotechs all over the place, and this just kind of lets the air out of it and just bad. It would be a great album, but not for that one track. We go to 1975 again. Another seminal artist, Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic. And again, we get the closing track. You See Me Crying. Don't care for it. Never cared for it. The rest of the album, spectacular. Spectacular. Yes, even Big 10-inch. I love Big 10-inch. It's funny. It's whimsical. And all I've ever asked of an artist is if you're going to do something in a certain style, do it well. And that's really well done for what it was intended to be. Can't stand this one too. Again, I'm glad it's the last track, because I just stop before I get there and start all over again. So Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic. My last one is also from 1975. Wow. Bad year, I guess. Or really great year. Depends on how you look at it. We go to Rush, Caress of Steel. And the just absolute head scratcher. I think I'm going bald. While the music is great, obviously the instrumental parts are always really good. These are just infantile lyrics. They're just wrong. How do you put that? What's that?
Oh, that always to me sounded like a knockoff of In the Mood. You know, it has the same kind of da 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 da.
Well, at least those lyrics don't make me want to scratch my eyes out.
Well, I just see I mean, it's just was always weird
so
for me too.
No, other than that, the rest of the album is amazing. But I have to skip this one.
Hey, they were smoking a lot of pot then, so
well,
yeah, they were.
Leave it at that.
They should have stopped at this. They shouldn't have gone that far. No, it's horrible. So
this is a proof that you can smoke
Peter
too much
doesn't
pot.
like
Maybe.
fun.
Wasn't that song like a cross between Alex Lifeson was always worried about going bald, and then
It have
Kim
something to do
Mitchell?
with Kim Mitchell, didn't it?
Yeah, I've heard both stories.
I've heard both stories.
Either way, great music ruined by horrible lyrics and bad vocals. So those are my 5.
All right.
Well, I'm just going to remain quiet. All right, sounds great. Thank you, Peter Jones. Let's go over to Martin. Martin, you're up.
Okay. Well, funny story here is I started doing all this extra homework. And so I've got all these great honorable mentions because I thought I'm going to get a History in 5 Songs audio podcast episode out of this. And then I look it up and go, I've really covered this topic pretty much dead on, right? So I've got all these extra cool honorable mentions, but I'm not going to mention them now, of course, because we didn't compare any notes. And I'm just hoping we don't have any doubles, right? We might. So far, no doubles. So in a good place. So my 5, I'm going to start with I Can't Quit You, Baby from Coda. Now, the reason here, all these have different reasons. And the reason here is that everything else is a non-LP rarity. And this is just a live version of something that was on the first album. So it just broke the rule of the album, busted it up. Others might pick Bonzo's Montreux, which is mostly a kind of like a drum solo. And an instrumental, right, at the same time. So that's kind of an outlier as well. But the worst outlier for me is just, why do we have a live version of a song that was on a record? So that blew it for me on that. So that's a but for that one song, that would have been, basically 100% a compilation of rarities, right? Okay, next I'm going to go with Blue Oyster Cult, Heaven Forbid. And you get all these, we've been waiting all these years. In fact, exactly a decade for a new Blue Oyster Cult album. And it's just really cool, original after original and original. You get to track 10, and then all of a sudden, track 11, we get an acoustic, and basically another version of In Thee from Mirrors. So again, just don't, give us originals. It's like, you're telling us you ran out of ideas at 10 songs, basically, by even putting it there, right? So just breaks the rule, breaks up the album. It's just this extra bonus thing. It's just a messy end of the album. So that goes there. Next, we go back to the Stooges. So the original Stooges album, and this is in the category of outlier track. And just to rub it in, it's way too long. So there's a song on here. There's all these great proto-punk, proto-heavy metal, well-recorded by John Cale, rock songs all over this album. But side 1 goes 1969, 405, I Want to Be Your Dog, 310, We Will Fall, 1015. And it's like this religious, culty, slow, dirgy vocal track, right?
It's a good one.
And then everything else on the other side is I think actually every single song on the other side is basically a pretty rockin' song. So big outlier thing there. But for that one song, that would have been just an uncompromising, just a complete rocker. Okay, so now into the cover songs department. Riot Narita, absolutely incredible album, start to finish, full of originals. They cover Born to Be Wild on here, right? It happens to be a pretty good version, and our live band, we actually played their version of it, and we played Road Racing from this album in our set. But the other slight outlier is Narita itself, which is a instrumental. which is odd because it's it's the title track of the album, which is kind of weird. But yeah, Born to Be Wild, did not need it. Just give us all originals. And my final one is from one of my probably top 5 favorite albums of all time, far and away my favorite Judas Priest album. I'm just going to go with the Peter Jones sort of philosophy here. And the idea is we've got this outlier of a ballad, a totally mellow ballad, Before the Dawn. We didn't need it. Everything else is action-packed, amazing. It just sits there as, I don't know what this is there for. It sounds like a cynical radio ploy, but it's more like a funereal, dirgy ballad. But no drums at all, right? It's just, So yeah, didn't need it. Didn't need Before the Dawn in there. Those are my 5.
Excellent.
Don't give Peter Jones any more ammo, Martin, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, well, there was a theme there with Peter, so
I know. Yeah, he's
You
got a
guys
good
don't have a
point.
sensitive side. That's what I have to say.
There you go.
You said I have no
Sensitive.
fun.
You don't have any fun either.
actually in my
funny.
categories here, I had a ballad category and I had a tossed off jokey songs category. So I think Peter covered at least those 2 categories, right? Just those 2 categories, basically.
Yep, kind of. Yeah,
Tossed
ballady.
off song and a ballad. Yeah.
There you go.
And then a
All
couple.
right.
What were you thinking?
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Let's throw it over to the Elder of Rock. Elder, what
All
you
right,
got?
Well, I'm going to agree with Peter on the animal magnetism with Lady Starlight. I agree that that's I had this on my list, and I agree. It's like totally it brings the album to a dead halt. It even tries to have like a electric guitar solo at the end, which is kind of weird too. But there is also, I will say, if you ever heard the Scorpions Berliner Philharmonic album, they do it on that album, and it's pretty cool on that album. So, but just on Animal Magnetism, you're right. It's like, it just brings
I
it
don't
to a
know.
dead halt.
Animal
I would skip it.
magnetism. Animal magnetism was my gateway drug, and I really can't see any flaws in that record.
Oh yeah, yeah.
When you're,
I always thought that was-
when you're a kid, Elder, and
Yeah.
that's like your first thing.
I think
But
I may
I
have
understand-
even. Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No. Yeah, I know what you mean, because that was my first time in the Scorpions too. It was Animal Magnetism, but
It's got
But
one of the
when I heard-
slowest songs ever on it before Doom, right?
yeah,
Mhm.
it's
Well, there's one real quick factor too. At this stage, Klaus's voice was in the worst shape and condition it would be in his entire career. So him singing something a little more gentle, his voice was fried, and it just doesn't sound right. He gets healthy now. Ballads and slower tempos sound phenomenal moving forward. He just didn't have the skill for it. He's better at screaming, and that's why that album worked. So.
yeah.
Good point. Point.
Yeah, and I think I mean one time I made a tape of Animal Magnetism on a cassette tape, and those things. And I think I even, when it came to Lady Starlight, I just put the guitar solo part on. I just put
Skip
that
the rest
guitar
of it.
solo and yeah. So anyway, Lady Starlight, and then I'm gonna go. I can go with the Rush album too, but this one's Fly By Night, and the song Rivendell.
Ooh.
It's just, it's just total like this slow guitar, just, I don't know. It just brings the album to a halt for me. I didn't just never always skip that song when it comes to that album. And then now some people may not say this is a perfect album. What is it? Is this number 3 for me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. But Judas Priest Turbo, I don't think it's a bad album, but the song Parental Guidance I just cannot stand.
I had that on my honorables here.
Yeah, that song is just so stupid. And how old are they singing that song at that point? They're almost 40 or something. Yeah. And it's just such an obvious I don't know, ploy to try to bring in a certain audience that just stupid lyrics. I mean, Judas Priest haven't had great lyrics all around, but that was just really, I think, really bad. Then my next one's going to be Paul Stanley's solo album. The song Hold Me, Touch Me. Paul Stanley can write some good ballads and has written some good ballads, but that one was just so. It just seemed obvious he was trying to go for his own Beth or something like that. It was, no rock element to it at all for me. And then my last one is going to be Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, the song Fluff. I just find that song totally boring. I think Tony is really the only Black Sabbath member that plays on it. Maybe Geisler does a little bass on it. I'm not sure. But yeah, that just brings the album to a screeching halt for me. So there you go.
Nice.
Why do I keep thinking that this show's going to be very controversial? I don't know. Just a gut feeling. Just a gut feeling. Come on, Hold Me, Touch Me.
That song is terrible.
That's a great song.
And you know, not to disparage anybody, but it just sounds also like he's singing a little bit with a lisp. Though I know that you are sleeping, there's something I must say. It's just.
Oh no! All right, I'm glad I'm not participating in this episode and just hosting.
I know, right?
What ticks me off about that album is it's too short, right? I mean, I like that album. I just wish it had 2 more songs on it.
True, yeah, man. That would make.
Oh, sorry. Is that off the '78 album?
Yeah, that's all. Paul Stanley.
Sorry. For some reason, I thought you were talking about a song on Play to Win or whatever it's called.
Oh no, it's off his first one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't even recognize that. Yeah.
I think it's a great song. I don't have a problem with it, but that's okay. This is why we're here. We're talking music, and we're keeping it loose, and it's just fun to talk about this stuff. So, Elder, was that your 5th one?
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah. Was it? Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
We get on a tangent, and I can't keep track. Excellent, Elder, except for that Paul Stanley one. All right, Butch, you going to bring up Peter Criss's solo album?
If I wanted to talk about it's terrible except for one song, yeah, but this is the opposite.
I don't think Peter Criss's album's all that bad.
I don't think it's terrible either. I'm just saying though that there's a lot of
There's more than one on his album.
Well, there you go. There's our next show. But for that one song, ... Part 2.
This is a tangent,
but it has
but
one good song on it. Yeah.
Think about it. Peter Criss is doing what he wanted to do. That's the stuff he likes.
I have no issue with that record whatsoever. It's exactly
he did what he did.
It was exactly what it intended to be, and he's got a perfect voice for it.
Let's just leave it at that. All right, Butch, what's your? This is good. Oh my God. All right, Butch, what's your 5?
All right, I'm going to start with this one. I don't know. I don't think this will be super controversial or anything, but I love this record except for that one song, and that song is "I Do Not Like Gonna Get Close to You." I thought it was. I can't get the freaking blur is on there. I'm
going to throw the graph. Hey, Butch, don't worry about it. I'm going to throw the graphic up anyway.
Man, I couldn't stand it that they released it as a single. I think the album is super cool. There's some heavy stuff on it. There's some interesting progressive things on here. No Regella is great. There's so many good songs on this record, and Gonna Get Close to You is just stupid. It's a cover. It's not well. I don't think it's particularly well done. There's nothing I like about that song, really. I mean, I don't necessarily skip it every time, but I just don't care for it. And I think had it not been for that song that breaks up the flow of the record would have been, a 10 out of 10. As it is, I gotta probably drop it to like an 8.5. That's my first one.
If the track had been written more based around the bridge, it would have been really.
Well, I don't think they wrote that song, did they? I think that was somebody.
Yeah, it's Lisa Del Bello.
Yeah.
The verses are just dreadful.
Yeah, it's rough, man.
It's my favorite.
Video's kind of funny too.
I don't care.
They actually made a video for it too.
Oh, the video, they're in a girl's bedroom or
it.
something.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
Yeah. I was surprised it didn't kill the band's career dead, to be honest with you.
Oh my God. Jeez.
Pretty rough.
Nobody knew him enough at that point.
Yeah. My next one is going to be Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast, and Gangland with one of the stupidest choruses they ever did. It's not a particularly good chorus. It's not a great song. And other than that song, the record is every song on it's killer except for Gangland. Invaders is great. It's got Hallowed Be Thy Name on it. Just The Prisoner, list them off. Children of the Damned. I mean, it's all here except that song is not good. It's average at best, and that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. The next one I'm going to go to Black Sabbath's Mob Rules album, and look at Grant covering his eyes.
I just can't believe what you're saying, Butch.
Well,
go ahead.
I mean,
go
come
ahead.
on. I mean, it's an album that rises to great heights almost everywhere except for Slipping Away, which it's a clunky, I don't know, funky rock. The only reason that the weirdest reason for me to kind of like that song, other than Dio singing on it, is that the one riff in it reminds me of the riff in Angels Under Suspicion, but I just don't think it's a great song. It's like Heaven and Hell has Wishing Well on it, which is, I mean, neither one. I love both those records. I think they're great, and they both overcome like they're the weak song in each record. But Mob Rules would be, again, it'd be a 10 out of 10er for me if not for Slipping Away. Let's see. I guess I'll go with a couple of you guys stole some of my thunder a little bit. I'm going to go with, I mean, for me, this one hurts me to say it, but Thin Lizzy's Black Rose record. And I don't dislike this song necessarily, but I think the lyrics are stupid, and that's S&M.
I had it on here. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's a weird, like, Phil wrote such cool stories, and he had such thoughtful lyrics, and S&M just, I don't think it plays well. I don't think it aged very well. Like, it just kind of silly for what he's capable of. I mean, every once in a while he throws something out like that was kind of off the beaten path, like Boogie Woogie Dance, or he'd have a lyric that would, but like, I don't know, just S&M for me kind of, it doesn't like dip the album badly, but it's the spot on the record that I'm just not thrilled with. That's and the last one to really get some people angry is from Rainbow Rising, which I think is a perfect record, except Do You Close Your Eyes is dumb. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's just a big dumb rock song in the middle of like this grand, what I think is, epic sounding record. I mean, it's killer metal record, and then they throw out this stupid boogie woogie kind of jam song between side, at the end of side one and before side two, and it's okay, but it's just not. I don't think it stands up to the rest of the record at all. And to compound it, they played it live
way too fast.
Yeah, and way too long, like huge long versions of it. I just don't think it's a great song. There's a couple on that first record that are like clunkers like that one, and it ruins and otherwise, like, I mean, I always feel like I got to put an asterisk next to it when I'm listing it among my favorite records of all time, because when I look at the track listing, when I think of the album as a whole, Rising is one of the greatest metal records ever. But when I look at the track listing individually and see Do You Close Your Eyes, I'm just like, is it though? Like, I don't know how much I have to dock it for that song, but that's my 5.
I can handle it.
Well, hey, let me rattle off these honorable mentions since I did this extra work here. So in the covers department, we got The Cult with Born to Be Wild on Electric, right? Yeah. Same sort of deal. On Metal Church's debut, we got Highway Star. Nobody likes that.
Love that.
I love that. I mean, generally people don't like that version. And it's just a cover. It stands out, right? Raven, Give Me Some Lovin'. Kiss, Then She Kissed Me. Under the ballad department, I also had Rainbow Eyes. In the tossed off jokey song department, I had Deep Purple, Mitzi Dupree. Deep Purple, Anyone's Daughter. Led Zeppelin, Hot Dog. On the one song where you throw the bone to the guy who's not the lead singer, I had Aerosmith, Walk On Down. Manic Street Preachers does this as well. On the Too Long Outlier department, I had Deep Purple, Child in Time. Deep Purple, Lazy. In the messy semi song that you don't know if it's really a song or not, I've got Iron Maiden, Satellite 15 ... The Hellion by Judas Priest. Call for the Priest, Let Us Pray, because everybody just gets ticked off because they screwed up the order of those and you don't know which is which and what the actual song is called and where the break is. So that always annoys people. Defenders of the Faith as well. In the rehash department, like the Blue Oyster Cult, in the I had Deep Purple Hush 88 on Nobody's Perfect. Purple Bloodsucker, spelled BLUD, on Abandon, I think it was, right? In the crap song department, I had the S&M, the parental guidance. I had Genesis Whodunit. People say that about that song. Baby Drives Me Crazy from Live and Dangerous. Debbie Denise from Agents of Fortune.
I love that track.
I love
Miscellaneous. I think it's called My World, right? At the end of Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion 1 or 2, the one where it's just the short electronic song. I don't know.
I don't think I can ever get to the end of that record.
I don't like any of the Guns N' Roses. So, Martin, I don't even understand what you're saying.
And then the Stooges LA Blues off of Funhouse, which is just a big noisy bunch of instrumental stuff. And one funny one, which might actually line up for our next episode, Queen Under Pressure, which is my favorite song on that album, but it's a different session and it's overshadowed by having a massive guest star on it, right? And it's the best song on it, right?
Yeah, it wasn't from that session and they just added it.
So if it wasn't for that one song, we could complain completely about Hot Space, maybe. But I think there's a bunch of great songs on it. I actually like Hot Space. I don't mind it at all. So anyways, there you go.
I have some honorables, if I may.
Okay. Yeah.
Mother from Synchronicity for the Police.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Seaman, famous, however you pronounce it, from Metal. Pink Floyd, that one kind of derails the flow of it, but they make up for it with echoes. Honky Tonk Blues at the end of Sports. Huey Lewis in the News. I love everything up to that point, and then that just doesn't seem to fit. It's just a tag on the end for some reason. I would put on Suitcase Blues, Triumph's Just a Game from '79. Album's great up to that point, and then you're just, I think I have the wrong record. Something's not in the right session, but there it is. It's Rick Emmett, but it just doesn't make any sense. And I'm going to end with my favorite Van Halen record, Women and Children First. Could This Be Magic? To me is just a filler, waste of space. Put in, or just leave it off, and it would be more than perfect in my book. So those are some of my honorables there.
Nice.
You know what? I want to say something, Peter Jones, about Synchronicity.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem so much of an album as opposed to like a collection of songs to me.
Oh, yeah.
You listen to Ghost in the Machine, that to me seems like an album. But Synchronicity just seems like here's a bunch of songs. All right. We'll give, Stuart, here you go. Here's your track. All right, Andy, here's one. Just do something. So I think Mother totally does not fit. Yeah. I mean, I always skip over it. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. All right. Wrap her up, Grant.
All right. So we did that quick. Half hour, ladies and gentlemen, a world record.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to thank the panel tonight. Peter Jones, the Elder of Rock, Butch, and of course, Morton and myself. Hey, if you'd like to be on these panels, we'd love to have you. Look at what Butch is doing, the mojo. If you'd like to be on these panels, we'd love to have you. A lot of great stuff. We'd love to have new blood on these panels. Nothing against anybody on the panel now. Love everybody here. But we always like to have some new people on to kind of mix it up. We have a Patreon. You can join that if you'd like to support the channel. We also have a Ko-fi. Buy us a pint or a cup of coffee. That would be great. But yes, also, I don't want to forget, we have merch down below. Buy yourself a shirt. Buy yourself a sweatshirt. Winter's coming. Do yourself a favor. It helps us support the channel. We do this because we love it, but any little bit helps, ladies and gentlemen. So based on that, what's next in the warehouse? Well, I just called it the warehouse. You bastard, Grant. I'm going to have to re-edit that. 3, 2, 1. So what's new on the Contrarians? Well, there are some things. There's a lot coming up. There's a lot of things I still need to edit. So stay tuned. A lot of things. Martin's got a new... Wait a minute. Before we're a little bit early, Martin, talk about the new series on the channel that we're doing.
Yeah, we've been doing these short things, 5 minutes long, called Reliving Old Reviews as a Useless Tool of Confusion, which is a Pantera quote. We're up to about a dozen of them now. So I basically go find an old period, 1970, 1971 review of something and basically do a review of the review and see if they if they got the story right of it, like talking about some album or band that got massive that was small back then, or this album turned out to be a classic. What do you compare it to? If it sounds like an album, you really can't compare it to anything. So yeah, they're just these 5-minute short snappers, and I knocked off another, I don't know, 9 of them today, I think. Grant.
I'm impressed.
Got a few more coming over. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I've watched a few of those. Those are nice. Those are fun.
So those will premiere like at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. So tune in. I think Pete's going on at 10. So we've got this scheduled right before that. So tune in. Check out those episodes. They're great. We're always trying to mix new things here on the Contrarians. So please leave a comment. We always like to hear those. All right, gentlemen, let's wrap this dog up.
All right. Thanks
We'll
very much,
see ya,
guys.
and stay tuned for more
Thanks.
great stuff.
All
Have
right.
a good
See you
evening. And
later.
have a great rest of the week.
See you.
Thanks again, guys. Bye now.
Thanks. See
See
you.
y'all.